Time they got done with us, it'd be rough.
Y'all ready? We'll call this work session Monday, March 2nd to order. Invocation given by Gio Whitcomb and pledge allegiance by Amara Mitchell.
God, we thank you for all the blessings you given us and everything you continue to do for us. Thank you for our city and the public servants here. This evening, please cover all the people in our community with your safety, protection, and love. In Jesus' name, I pray, amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag and United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, sir. All right, first thing tonight is a public hearing for the Cheers Corner number 3. This is the time and place for that public hearing. Anyone here for this? I know she's here. I thought I saw her. Oh. Okay. We'll move it to the end in case she shows up, but we're going to move on. All right, number 2, public hearing for alcohol license for the Vault on Laurel. This is time and place for that public hearing. Anyone here for this? Thank you. Anyone here against this? No one here against this. Mr. Kennemer, will you go over the investigation report?
The applicant is Amy Lambert, doing business as the Vault on Laurel, located at 203 West Laurel Street. There's no record indicated in the personal background investigation. There were no objections from the 3 businesses and 2 residences that met the statutory requirements. The nearest church is First Baptist. It meets footage requirement. The nearest school is Caldwell Elementary. It meets footage requirement. The parking and floor space requirements were met. The license application is pending. The health inspection, fire inspection, building inspection, and zoning verification all comply.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kennemer. With that being said, that'll conclude this public hearing. So we will move that to next week's meeting for a vote. Thank you. All right, number 3, discuss police department request. Mr. Durham.
I think all of y'all were sent this.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Everybody has it?
Yes, sir.
Copy of it? Nope. Hello, my name is Cody Durham. I'm a lieutenant with the Scottsboro Police Department, for those of y'all that may not know me. I started at the police department in the jail. I've worked my way around and up. I'm the training coordinator, training officer for the department. So in August of 2020, actually July of 2025, our city had something happen to it that hasn't happened in upwards of 70 years. We had an officer-involved shooting where one of our own were struck with a bullet in the hand, wrist area. He's still currently gainfully employed with us. However, he doesn't know the outcome of anything that could potentially happen to him. So when that happened, we had to make a call for another agency to come in and take care of a problem that we very well could have taken care of ourselves. We had to call out Madison County SWAT. When we did call out for Madison County SWAT, they did, of course, come and help us. However, in that call-out process, it took them upwards of 3 hours to come out and to help us. So in that time frame, we did what we could and what we were currently trained to do. We managed to set up what we thought was a good perimeter at the time, but in that time frame, we were waiting that upwards of 3 hours for somebody to come out and assist us with resolving our own issues. So in that, once that happened, and we did successfully, 23 hours into the manhunt for the suspect that had shot Lieutenant Derek Porch, we did find and locate him and apprehend him of our own accord. However, something that we found out very quickly when that happened is the city of Scottsboro is a large and growing place. It's not the same town it was in 1869 when the city was founded. The Scottsboro Police Department has served its citizens for upwards of 150 years at this point. The city grows, technology grows, the things that we face on a daily basis grows. So we, as a police department in the city of Scottsboro, are trying to grow as well. So with that being said, when we had to call in Madison County SWAT, it took them upwards of 3 hours. Like I said, we did what we could at the time. We thought we had a good perimeter, and we weren't. So with that being said, that happened July 26th of 2025. After that happened, and we kind of got to realize what had occurred and the things that we as a police department could do to better serve our citizens and everything else, Chief Godfrey had reached out and was like, this is something that we need. He started talking about developing a special response team, something that we as a police department would be able to mitigate. We would be able to call a team of people out that would have a 30 to 40 minute window to activate, be on scene, and to take care of issues that normal police officers aren't trained to do. So with that, he had came to me and he told me to pick some people, and we set out on a venture to start Scottsboro Police Department's very first special response team. In that, I know y'all got that. I don't want to sit here and read it, but in that, we have not met much resistance at all. Chief has been very forthcoming and very positive on everything that we've tried to do. So what we have done is we originally selected 8 people amongst our department, and we sent everybody to Meridian, Mississippi for training. Since then, we have dropped 2 people from that, but we remain with 6 original people. So when you start talking about a tactical response, you're starting to talk about a significant amount of equipment that's necessary for us to do our job successfully. Not only do our job, but to do our job safely. There is in there that minimum list of equipment that is necessary. I think, so as of now, the 6 out of the 8 that we currently have, the 6 officers that we currently have on the team right now have spent out of their own pocket upwards of $6,000 apiece. That's non-footed by the city. That's not departmental money. That's money out of each officer's pocket to provide these tactics and the training that is necessary for this to come to fruition. 150 years is a long time, especially being the largest city inside of Jackson County. I know there's been talks about it prior, but there's never been a team that has been stood up, whether it's Scottsboro City Police Department, Jackson County, or anybody else. So for the time being, we are trying to start it up with the city of Scottsboro. It could grow. I hope it gets up on its feet, continues to grow, and it's something where when people talk about calling somebody out to handle something, to handle business, they think Scottsboro Police Department, Special Response Team. Me being on the front line of it and trying to get these wheels moving on this, and I've got some guys here that they were in it from the get-go too. As soon as they heard about it, they were all in. So currently we have set policies and procedures that align with the best practices in law enforcement today. We've done our research. We do have a physical standard that we are going to and will continue to uphold. We have a shooting qualification because special response training isn't just something where you can stand and shoot. If you're going to be moving, you need to be practicing. If you're going to have to move and shoot, then you need to be practicing moving and shooting. This isn't something that we can talk about and not train to do. So training is an issue. However, April the 6th through April the 9th, we have 8 of our police officers along with 1 Scottsboro fireman. We're going to go to a basic tactical operators course based out of JSU. It will be the first step in not only Scottsboro Police Department, but Scottsboro Fire Department. We're trying to do this where we can pull from all over the place. We don't want it just to be Scottsboro Police Department. We want the most qualified, the best able people that we can to pull from to make this journey a success. So April the 6th to the 9th, we're sending nine people to this basic tactical operators course. It would be the first that Scottsboro Police Department or Scottsboro Fire Department have sent to a BTOC to get certified and qualified to do these type of missions, so to speak, or call outs if something were to happen. So what kind of call outs could we potentially be looking at? So any type of barricaded suspects where somebody could put themselves in a house, in a structure, anything like that, this would give us the ability to, whether we tried to negotiate with them, we went into the structure, whatever, to, when something does happen, for Scottsboro Police Department to take care of the city of Scottsboro and its citizens to be able to mitigate these situations. We are eternally grateful for the support and the response we got from Madison County. However, if we would have had a little bit more training and something like a special response team, we would have possibly been able to mitigate that much quicker than we did. We are fortunate that we were able to get it taken care of. But if the city of Scottsboro, the Scottsboro Police Department, and the Scottsboro Fire Department would be able to put a special response team together, we would be able to take care of our own. We wouldn't have to call Madison County. We wouldn't have to call DeKalb County. The city of Scottsboro is plenty big enough to have something like this. We're looking at potentially 15, 16 people on the team. So with that, after Chief figured out that we needed this, he reached out, we started working on it. So we've got policy in place. We have the PT, we have the shooting qualification and things like that. Now we need somewhere to have something to operate out of, okay? So we have the Scottsboro Police Department. The Scottsboro Police Department is right there on Broad Street. If we were to get called out for anything else, anybody that drives up and down Broad Street and sees any unmarked cars there after 4:30, 5 o'clock, they automatically, it's straight to Facebook. So we have found a location that we would like to try to get as not only a special response team headquarters, but also double that up with a new training facility for the city of Scottsboro. I've been with the city of Scottsboro, with the Scottsboro Police Department for just at 13 years. When I started at the police department, we had the same building we do now. Chief has been gracious. He's allowed us to make upgrades and things of that nature. However, the building that we're in it's outlived itself 3 times. The building that we call our training center is a 1970s model FEMA trailer, the ones that I did art and music in when I was in elementary school. So that's what we're operating out of. It does have a classroom and an office. However, it's in the next 5 years, I don't know that it would even be usable. So looking forward to the future, looking forward to having a city of Scottsboro, Scottsboro Police Department, and Scottsboro Fire Department special response team. We would like to look forward to the future, not only implement an SRT team, but also make the motions to get forward and put a step forward to hopefully get a new training facility that would double as somewhere to operate out of for our special response team. That's as far as the building. It always comes down to the brass tacks and the money. Each one of y'all have a handout out. And like I said, I don't want to reiterate. I don't have it currently I have a copy of it. But the minimum to outfit a special response team member was just over $6,000. If you take that minimum, actually it was almost $9,000. So the officers, the 6 original officers currently have spent just over $6,000 out of their own pocket to make this happen, to be on the front line of it, to make sure that Chief's vision of having the very first Scottsboro special response team doesn't die on its heel. And then it takes about $8,000 to $9,000 as far as equipment, training, and everything else to have somebody that is gainfully employed with the police department or the fire department to get them the equipment necessary to operate on a call out, to send them to this basic tactical operators course, and to do any other training. So with our policy, we are mandating that they go to BTOC. BTOC is beginner level SWAT. It teaches building clearing, room movements, threshold evaluations, how to go into a structure and to be tactically sound in order to keep ourselves and the citizens of Scottsboro safe. So that's pretty much my spiel on that. I'd just like to ask that we give this some thought and hopefully move forward towards making not only the city of Scottsboro a safer place, but the Scottsboro Police Department and the Scottsboro Fire Department a safer place as well.
Now, I've got some comments about the building area, but anybody got any questions for Lieutenant Durham on this?
Well, this sounds like something that could be used if there was a school shooter. Is that active shooter?
It could. So we try every year to go into the schools, and the past several years, we have invited the administration from the schools into our training scenarios so they can see not only how this works, but they go through their lockdown procedures and things like that. So not only is it good practice for us as law enforcement, but this would also be something where when we go through BTOC, I may coordinate the training with the schools. However, my guys that are going to be on the team, they would actually come in and help put this on. So instead of having one person running this, you would have people with specialized training that could go in, work with the other officers. And, you know, the high school has upstairs and downstairs, and it has 4 wings. So ultimately, we could break up into 2 teams and work simultaneously throughout the school and never even come back to each other. But we do try, with the schools and everything else, we do try to get into the schools and work that kind of stuff. However, we're not the only ones that train that stuff. Our entire agency, once a year during the summer, when the kids are out and everything else, we try to get with the administration and get in there and to show them kind of what we would do if that were the case.
Anyone else have questions? As far as the building goes, as of right now, the IDB has been letting them use a building of theirs, and they've offered it to us. Have discussions with them and talked with Mr. Kimmer, talked with the mayor earlier about this building, and I've talked to a few of y'all. But it's a real good rate for the city, and it could be stretched over a 5-year period. And so I believe it'd be something to look at moving forward, to go ahead and acquire that property that they're already using. So.
It's just like what you were saying, that we're a growing city, so I think this is definitely something that we need to look at.
Okay. Anyone else have questions? All right, we're going to move out to next week's meeting then.
Thank you all.
Thank you. All right, number 4, discuss revised job descriptions for the police department. Chief Godfrey.
First of all, Lieutenant Durham, I put a lot on him, and he hadn't slowed down yet.
No.
It's something needed. We'll go into job descriptions. This is not gonna cost the city no money, so that's the best thing.
Yeah.
It's just cleaning up some words and supervisory positions. I'm sure everybody's read over it. You got any questions?
And you see in your packet, you have the old and new job descriptions still, so you can lay them side by side if you need to. The major thing is the pay grades, with us changing the pay scale. That's all having to be changed. And so that's your major differences. But of course, you'll see the staff and who they report to and that kind of stuff. There's a few of those that have changed also. So anyone have any questions about the old and new job descriptions? No questions? We'll move back to next week's meeting then. All that paper for that quick.
Well, wait, hold on a second.
Okay.
Did y'all work together and look at all that?
Yes,
Okay.
no conflict, no
Okay.
problems with HR.
I didn't think so. I just wanted to clarify.
All right, thank you.
You just had to ask something, didn't you?
Yeah.
I had to put you on the spot.
All right, number 5, discuss safety equipment for police department officers. Chief?
This kind of goes back to the Lieutenant Fort shooting. Times has changed in my 40 years. I never would have thought I'd be coming up here and asking for a ballistic helmet and a rifle plate to get out. We were the only department on the scene that didn't have that day. The president was there, the mayor was there, and they witnessed that. And it's time for every police officer to have a ballistic helmet and a rifle plate. That's 45 units. And it's gonna cost us some money. That figure you see is kind of fluid, but I think up to 60,000 will cover it.
This is on top of that other
Yeah,
expenditure.
it's totally different.
Yeah, okay,
This is for every officer.
This is for everybody.
yeah.
And you're willing to use some of this funds you have,
Well,
right?
I don't really want to, no. I had a meeting with Stacy.
I have to ask.
And Stacy coached me in what to come up here and say.
I knew
He said,
it.
I got to go after Mike Ashburn for one thing.
He's the master, that's for sure.
All right, anyone have any questions on any of this equipment?
I just, back to what Cody was covering a little while ago too, I know this is a completely different number on our agenda, but it just really bothers me that a lot of times that our police officers are having to spend their own money for equipment. And I hope this changes.
It's called dedication.
Yeah. Anyway,
And going back to the ballistic helmets and vests, when the mayor met with the delegation, I've been wanting to do this for several months now. I can't wait no longer. It's got to happen. I thought I was going to get some money from them, but that didn't work.
I thought you was too.
We've got to do it.
Just for the information of the council, you say we're in the red on the additional sales tax. So this will have to come out of our capital fund.
yeah,
But it's needed.
yeah.
This is needed.
We can't put a price on something.
That's right.
No. Well, just like you said, the dedication, we're dedicated to y'all as well, so.
And y'all have been, thank you.
Anyone else have any questions about the equipment? All right, we'll move that to next week's meeting too. All right, now the easy one for you, right?
The easy one.
All right, discuss the resolution to surplus police department property.
Got a 2008 Ford Expedition that just wore out. City shop said it's time to quit putting money into it. So we need to move it, gov deals, and whatever we get out of it, put back in capital outlay.
Okay. Anyone have questions on that? No questions, we'll move that to next week's meeting. Thank you. All right, number 7 tonight, announce municipal prosecutor resignation. The Honorable Gene Nicholas, that's hard for me to say.
Esquire.
Esquire. He has turned in his resignation as a prosecutor for us as of March 31st. So with that being said, of course, we will be looking to replace that position, but before we announce that replacement, I'd like to go ahead and move on to number 8, so Mr. Kinnemer can go over the reorganization in the municipal court.
We have Judge Dunsmore here, who, with your permission, Mr. Chairman, will let the council and yourself and the mayor know about recent changes in law and procedure which may call other things into play.
Thank you, Mr. Kinnemer. Mayor, council, I appreciate you letting me come up here and talk about this. Our legislatures, they come up with something new every month, and last year they made some substantial changes to some of the misdemeanors that we handle in city court. Many of the cases that we handle there are serious offenses. People sometimes think that we just deal with ordinances and things of that nature, but the municipal court handles domestic violence cases. It also handles DUIs all the way up to a 3rd DUI, and also handles marijuana cases. The important thing about these cases, in addition to their severity, is in the event that a defendant is charged with one of these crimes and convicted, if they have a subsequent conviction for one of those crimes, it can escalate that to becoming a felony offense. Their rights need to be protected, and when the legislature met last year, they changed some of the reporting requirements and some of the mandates that we have. One is in municipal court now, we're required to inform people that are charged with domestic violence of how a conviction is going to impact their gun rights. That's very important. When the legislator made these changes, we began making sure that defendants knew all of those things. It's hard for those defendants sometimes to understand those things without an attorney. And with these changes and with the impact that it can cause, we thought it important that everyone who is indigent have the opportunity to apply for a court-appointed attorney. Now, that does not mean that everybody gets a court-appointed attorney. There's very specific qualifications. We look at their income, their assets, and things of that nature to determine whether or not they need an attorney for one of these serious crimes. In the event that they do need an attorney, our pattern and practice for years has been for us to appoint a local attorney to represent them. That's worked out fantastic for as many years as we've had municipal court. But with these changes, I found that I'm having to appoint more and more attorneys. Luckily, our police department is somewhat fully staffed now, I believe, right, Chief Godfrey? Our caseload has increased a lot, and the convictions for these kind of things increase along with that. But with the increase in caseload, we have an increase in cost. Luckily, there's revenue that come in to cover the cost of court-appointed attorneys. There's a fund, well, there's many funds that come out of the municipal court cost. We have dozens of different places where the money that we collect goes. Most of that money is going to Montgomery. There is a fund called the Fair Trial Tax, which is used all over the state by municipal courts and by circuit district courts to fund indigent defense. That fair trial tax, we collect a certain amount from every case each month. And for years, we would use that money to pay for our court-appointed attorneys, and whatever's left over, we send to Montgomery, and I don't know what they do with it at that point, but it goes somewhere. We've been running in excess for years with that, but with a number of attorneys that we're having to appoint now, we started going in the red. For the last 3 months, it coincided with these law changes. And luckily, the municipal magistrate staff, particularly Ms. Starr, noticed quickly that we were having to come out of pocket. The fair trial tax goes to Montgomery if we have an excess, but it doesn't come back to Scottsboro. It goes to Montgomery. However, if we have to spend more on court-appointed attorneys, that comes out of the Scottsboro budget. We've not gotten in trouble with that yet, but as our caseload gets higher, we have these convictions, as I have to appoint more and more attorneys, it's going to impact the city if we don't make some changes. I'd like to propose and let you guys ask me any questions and get information to you about the possibility of the municipal court having a public defender. What we could do if we had a public defender, we would have a set amount each month that we would pay, and that person could handle most, if not all, of the indigent cases, and we would know what we were getting into each month. The city would have less risk of us running in the red, and I think more importantly, those defendants would have more consistent help. Sometimes when we're in city court, we're the redheaded stepchild of the court system. We get the attorneys when they're finished doing everything else. And I found over the last year or so that I have a hard time wrenching those people away from Judge Graham and Judge Mitchell and particularly Judge Benson. So we would like to see if we could get someone to handle that for us every month or every week that we have court. I think it'll save the city some terrible problems down the road, and it'll give the defendants that are charged with serious crimes in city court the opportunity to be afforded the counsel that they deserve under the Constitution.
Yes.
Judge Dunsmore, as I understand the facts and the law, this will not cost the city anything at all.
No, sir.
It will be, the new position, if created, would be paid for by the defendants through court cost.
Yes, sir.
And so there's no monetary problem with this.
And what about the prosecutor spot that Gene has given up? will we need to replace it then?
Oh, we definitely need to replace it.
Okay, okay.
Again, our caseload keeps going up, and, you know, our prosecutors are hustling.
Okay.
I hate to say the honorable necklace, so I just call it attorney necklace, has done a fantastic job for us for 18 months, and we're going to need to have someone to step into that position.
Okay, thank you.
The add-on person we're talking about, would he just be noted, just be needed near the court?
In the law, the masculine is deemed to embrace the feminine and the singular, the plural, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Kenner. When you talk about that. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mike.
Mr. Ashburn, I apologize.
Judge Dunsmore, the person that we're gonna add on, will that be just being used during court?
Well, actually, the prosecutors, the judge, and this position, we don't just work during court. We get calls from out-of-town attorneys on Friday afternoon wanting to get somebody on bond. Sometimes I get called for a search warrant. It's not just time in court. We're spending time doing lots of things that are offline. And the great thing about having a public defender is we have that cost and we don't have to worry. I don't have to be concerned on Thursday afternoon about calling somebody in about how much it's going to cost. Not that I've worried about that, but that way we just know what we're getting into every month. So if that answers the question.
I guess, what I'm asking is this gonna become a full-time employee?
Oh, no. If I'm not full-time, there's no way. That it would be a contract position, is what I would expect.
That makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, 1099 type thing.
Yeah.
But again, all of that money comes from the fair trial tax. We're using fair trial tax money to pay those court-appointed attorneys already, and we've checked with other municipalities. This is something that we can do with the same monies.
Okay.
And Mr. Bailey, I completely endorse the judge's request. I think it necessary and appropriate.
Thank you, Mr. Gilmer. Anyone else have questions for Judge Dunsmore?
Is this an appointed position, or is that something that you handle, Deborah?
It would be an appointed position by the
Okay.
council.
For a certain amount of years, or, I know you said contract, but how would that work?
Be the same as the
Be the
prosecutors.
same as the prosecutors.
Okay.
Two-year term be what we would suggest, and, again, I would expect to post it at the same times each year as we do
Yes,
the
sir.
process.
So we'd put out for applications for this position?
Yes,
Yes,
just
sir.
like we did prosecute.
I would suggest if you move forward tonight, that you think Monday about setting a deadline for the 19th of March at 5 o'clock.
I think that's important, given the fact that Attorney Necklace is leaving us on the 31st.
Yes.
We have,
Yeah.
I believe, 3 Monday, 4 court dates in April, and we'll need to bring somebody up to speed fairly quickly.
Anyone else have questions on this?
I just want to say, the additional caseload says a lot for our police department, doing a great job and giving you more cases.
We love it.
Not slowing down.
I will say with our city prosecutor, Gene Nicholas, he did an outstanding job quitting.
He
Instead
did.
of just saying, I quit on this date, he wrote a book.
Yeah.
I think he gets paid by the word.
I'd like to add too that Caroline does a fantastic job.
Yes.
I'm glad that she caught that quick, and of course, I've known her for a long time in that role, so she's an asset to the community and somebody that we usually don't talk about very often, so she needs to be spoken very highly of.
She takes full credit for understanding. I mean, she saw it one month, and the next month, she knew that we were turning into
Yeah.
an issue with the caseload and the number of things that we're having to do.
Yep.
Thank you. So what we'll look at doing then is next Monday, we will vote to accept the resignation. And also, we will be putting out for bid for a new prosecutor and a public defender.
Yep.
So, all right. Anyone else questions or comments on that? All right, we'll move that on. All right, number 9, public hearing for the rezoning racetrack property. This is time and place for that public hearing. Anyone here for this?
No.
All right. Anyone here against this? Didn't think so. All right. No one here against this. Mr. Kinnemer, is there anything you want to say about this before I let them have the floor?
It's amazing that no one showed up to be against it. And several people in the neighborhood showed up in favor of it, as well as the property owners and other people impacted. If y'all have any questions of
Is it?
Mr.
Go ahead.
Boykin and his team, I think you've heard from them before.
Yes, yes.
I don't see that it's necessary to have it
Just-
extremely lengthy.
Just
Oh, no,
whatever you'd like to speak on tonight.
I won't go very long at all. First, we can hear on behalf of the applicant. This is this 15-acre property next to Chick-fil-A. Currently has mixed zoning of R4, R1, C3, C4. We're asking for a consistent zoning of C3, which lines up with other properties in the area. Speaking to what Mr. Kinnemer said, a unique thing about Racetrack is they engage the surrounding property owners from the get-go and try their best to talk through issues, make changes, and that's ultimately what we've done to get here today. So we think a majority of the property owners are in favor. Many of them are here tonight and attended other hearings in the Planning Commission. So we're asking for, again, a C3 zoning. With me tonight is Les Lewis, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the site and maybe some of the conversations with the neighborhood and changes.
Okay.
We'll move this real quick, but just to recap some things y'all heard from. I think the reason why they're in opposition is since we withdrew the last application last year, we re-engaged the neighborhood and some city personnel and went through a new list of collaboration and concessions we've come up with. To recap those, we've reduced the overall scope of the proposed development, the developed acreage, by almost 2 acres. We reduced the number of fuel pumps in both the front and the auto court and in the rear. We eliminated all truck parking. We coordinated our lighting specifications to make sure it's directional downlighting. We've agreed to increase the screening and buffering, especially against the houses that immediately abut the project, with additional landscaping and trees, and extending and raising the privacy fencing. And then most importantly, this time around, we agreed that we're gonna donate a total of 7.22 acres to the city, with the hope for some of that would be if the city decides in the future to extend Freedom Lane, they'll have the right of way to do that. And then there was some mention that maybe some of the excess land might be used for public purposes, including maybe City Little League. But I think for the most part, the neighbors were excited that at least it takes it out of Racetrack's hands for any future development. And then, we put all these in conditions to our zoning application, including the fact that if something gets tripped up if the rezoning is successful, it would revert if Racetrack or its assigns or affiliates don't close on it within a certain amount of time. I think the only thing we picked up from the workshop that it was traffic, and I want to recap that we did hire the same traffic engineer, Sane Associates, that the city hired when they were first looking at the Chick-fil-A project. We have followed Sane's recommendations and their design. We have collaborated with Chick-fil-A corporate next door and followed the design that was specified by Sane. We've gotten Chick-fil-A corporate support for the rezoning. And then the only other thing regarding traffic that I think we didn't have a good answer for at the workshop, and I think it folds in with what a lot of the neighbors' concerns, and I'll let them speak, those that are here. We heard repeatedly from most of the neighbors that they did not want to see any more apartments in immediate proximity. They have one smaller project at the end of Windsor, but that is what the property is currently zoned for. And so we, I don't know, maybe we can pass this out. We thought it'd be worthwhile. We did to kind of maybe answer some of the things we weren't able to appropriately answer in the workshop. We thought, well, how could the property be redeveloped without a rezoning? And as you'll see, I'm not sure which page, but there is a, we did a plan that showed putting apartments on the property as it's currently zoned. And what that plan shows is 252 total apartment units, a variety of 1, 2, and 3-bedroom units with parking per code of 442 spaces. We took this plan back to Sane, the traffic engineer, and had them analyze this and compare it to the racetrack plan that they'd previously analyzed. And I thought y'all would be interested to hear that, because as we've said before, a gas station convenience store captures most of its traffic. Traffic engineer will tell you it's 80% of the traffic is already on the street. It's passerby traffic, as they call it. Only about 20% of a gas station convenience store's traffic, per engineering standards, is considered new traffic. People that are come on that stretch of road to go specifically to the gas station convenience store, where obviously the apartments would all be, for the most part, new traffic. And as a matter of fact, in the way the traffic engineers analyze it, they do the AM, the morning peak hour, and the afternoon or PM peak hour. And this apartment plan, if that were to become a reality, and this is just a flavor we're showing you, is page 5. It shows the apartments would create 66% more AM peak hour new trips than the racetrack, proposed racetrack, and 123% more new trips in the PM peak hour. And then back to the rest of that, beyond that, I wanted to show you all is, I think I just want to highlight again what racetrack would be bringing. This is their newest, latest prototype. It is best in class. Convenience store, it's about 6,000 square feet. It has a wider variety of offerings and unique offerings that are just not present here in town. You know, with their food and drink, the prepared foods, the grab-and-go type of foods, the sweets, the treats, the yogurt swirl machines, the variety of coffee offerings, et cetera. It's really, and that's what we put in there later. That is, those photos, exterior and interior, that are attached to the end of the handout, that's a relative, I mean, within the last 6-month open store in North Florida. This is the exact type of store that Racetrack proposes to build here. I think it would be a unique and new and better offering than what's present in the market. And then, talking about economic impact, something else we didn't touch on, Racetrack's projections show that this project would create a total of $2.14 million annually in new tax revenue coming from this project, including $925,000 attributable locally to the city and county from this one project. And then, if there are any technical questions, I'll invite Blake McAnally here at McAnally, the civil engineer, who can also speak more educatedly on the traffic analysis.
Anyone have any questions on any of this?
I don't have any technical questions, but did you get a traffic count on 35?
Yes, sir. We did.
Remember what it was? Just curious.
Yes, all the adjacent streets, I believe you were pushing 30,000 cars a day.
Hit 'em up.
Maybe
200 off the
28
price of that.
on Veterans 35.
Yeah.
I can look at them, see what Alba.
No, that's good. I'm just curious. I knew what it used to be.
Right, no, it's certainly, it's zoomed up everywhere.
Last time we were together, just real quickly, there were some questions in regards to stormwater. We certainly understand, we've done about 2 or 3 dozen of these stores all over this part of the country. And we're quite common with how to handle stormwater. We can detain it, we can treat it if necessary. This will be self-sustaining. This property's stormwater detention will be self-sustaining. So we will design a system that will not release any increase in runoff rate post-development as it was pre-development. That's a common practice. We'll also retain some larger storm events in the detention basin that would be constructed for this. We will engage with the city, with Josh, the city engineer's office. We'll engage with all the utility companies. We will have to have an ALDOT permit for this project.
So we'll be working with them for work on 35. And then any other cross-cutter review agencies that would want to review this, we will, of course, be getting an 8M permit for a ground disturbance permit required, NPDS permit for anything in the state over 1 acre. All of these things, there's quite a stack of things, and about a 6 to 8 month design and review process to obtain all the permits. Uniquely with the racetrack, the civil engineer basically gathers every permit. So we will bring the building plans, the underground tank plans, we will bring the canopy plans, the sign package. All of these things will come to you at the city for review. And we basically get it ready and reviewed and approved so it's your satisfaction. And then when the contractor comes in, he only has to come in, buy the permit, and the project's ready to go. And I would say too, this project's moved pretty rapidly. 6 to 9 months, this project will be up and operating. They've got people that work with them and travel around the country doing this, and they are very specialized in putting these stores up, and they're very good at doing it. So you'll see the store, once it's approved and permit pulled, it'll go up pretty rapidly. And I'll be happy to answer any other questions you might have.
Anyone have any questions for him on this?
I was just gonna say, on page 11, you have gas price at $3.22. Can that drop?
All right, I'm going to open the floor if any of the neighbor. Sure.
On the retention pond? Yes, sir. I know it's gonna, not as much water, but how long does the neighbors have to complain or to bring up concerns if it's backing up on our property?
Well, the way that the ordinance works is that we've got to meet the obligations of the ordinance, and we typically will add a little buffer to that. You know, we may add an additional 10 or 15% storage just as a guarantee for an unusual situation or some kind of failure of a situation. We have an obligation to meet that ordinance perpetually, so we don't get to build it and walk away. Should there be a problem, all you need to do is let us know, let the city know, and they'll call us, and we'll come back out.
If there's a 100-year flood like it was in 2015, it's gonna flood all over in that area.
Our work too, though, we will have to work with FEMA and the building department to raise anything we do at least 1 foot above the base flood elevation. And we will not work in floodways, but we will place fill and build up to get the project out of the floodplain. We're obligated to do that under the city's ordinance.
Any other residents like to speak on this project? I just asked you to come to the microphone and say your name first. Ms. Phillips is not here tonight, and she'll be going back and having to watch this to keep records.
Shannon Brubaker. Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Shannon Hall Brubaker, and I'm speaking tonight in support of the proposed racetrack project and the requested rezoning of this property. I want to express my appreciation to Racetrack for their willingness over the past several years to listen to our concerns and to work directly with the neighborhood. Their continued communication and responsiveness has resulted in meaningful improvements to the project. In particular, I appreciate the enhanced heavy landscaping plan and the addition of an 8-foot privacy fence, as well as the developer's commitment to preserving as many mature trees on the property as possible. These efforts show a genuine attempt to respect and protect the character of the surrounding neighborhood. I also support the improved access design, including development of Freedom Lane and the connection to Micah Way. All of this will help alleviate the traffic flow to and from Windsor Drive, and it will improve overall safety and accessibility. After thoughtful consideration and in light of these changes, I believe this proposal represents a reasonable and a responsible use of this property. I support the rezoning request, especially as an alternative to further high-density apartment development under the existing R4 zoning. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brubaker. Anyone else like to speak tonight? Go ahead, Mr. Saint.
Councilman Mayor, my name's Tim Saint. As I've talked to each one of you on, you know that I approve this as well. I know that we've had concerns, which of course we don't want anything to go there, but, you know, it's us growing city and stuff, and we want Scottsboro to grow. We know that something's gonna go there. And again, like Ms. Baker said, as much as they've done change, and as much as Les has talked about how much they've changed for us to help us out, one thing that may help us out even more is we can actually cut through there to get to the red light to get out. We don't have to sit there for 10 or 15 minutes to try to pull out and try to take a left-hand turn, or try to pull out and get pulled over by our local police officer because it's illegal to do what we're doing. So, you know, and I know they're looking out for our safety as well. I'm not bad mouthing them because they're just doing their jobs. But, you know, it's gonna be it's gonna help us out as long run. It's gonna take and be something that's gonna help the city of Scottsboro to hopefully develop that into, it's being donated, property's being donated to us, to help us out in other areas. So I just want you to know how much I approve this rezoning.
Thank you, Mr. Saint. Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead.
I promised the next family, they had a family situation,
Okay.
they sent me an email, so
Sure.
I asked if I'd just read this, and this is from Ann Nix Porter, 706. She owns the property with her sisters, Mary Nix Darwin, Melissa Nix McCutcheon, and they just said they could not be here, but they wanted me to pass on their support.
Thank you, thank you. Anyone else? Any council questions or comments on this? All right. Well, just to let everyone know, of course, there's a 15-day waiting period for voting on this. So the next eligible date to vote on this will be March 23rd. So we'll put that on the March 23rd meeting. Thank you. All right, and so this will conclude that public hearing. I'll make sure I say that. And Ms. Patel never showed up. All right, we'll move that to the next work session then. All right, so I appreciate everyone coming out. There's no delegations tonight, so we'll go to reports. Mayor?
I don't have anything tonight, Mr. President. Thank you.
Mr. Stewart?
Yeah, I was going to say, Ms. Brubaker, that was very well articulated and very well thought through. I know sometimes people get nervous when they come up here, but you did a fantastic job, and I just wanted to point that out, so. Well, it was really good.
All right. Ms. Tolver?
I just want everybody freeze. I just want everybody to know that April the 11th is our cleanup day. And when you come out to support tonight, I need you to come and support on April the 11th, okay? It's on a Saturday. I'll have all kinds of snacks for you. Bring a friend.
Be here at City Hall, right?
Be here at City Hall at 8 o'clock, April the 11th, okay? I'll keep on reminding you. Thank you.
Mr. Ashburn?
I don't have anything, thank you.
Ms. Frederick?
I don't have anything.
All right, thank you. Just remind everyone that there will be a meeting next Monday, March 9th, work session March 16th, and then a meeting on March 23rd. Appreciate everyone coming out. We're adjourned.